There we go. We're ready.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, absolutely non-league, the show dedicated to everything from the Vanarama National League, National League North, and National League South. I tried to get away with it, everyone. I tried to be poorly on Monday, so I didn't have to talk about it. But we're going to have to do it at some point. Yeah, we are going to talk the National League final. I'm going to leave you a minute, Aaron. I'm going to leave you a minute. Ben, how are you and how's your week been?
Probably not as good as Aaron's, put it that way. Yeah, no, I'm all right. Still, to be honest, enjoying not having any football at the moment. I think to be honest, even when we get to pre-season, for me, I think I'll still be a bit, got to do this all over again. But you know, we love it, don't we? So yeah, trying to make the most of just relaxing out of it. How are you, Shah?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I mean, could have picked a better subject, couldn't we, to talk about? But we're going to have to do it. I'm joking.
It'll be your time next season. Don't worry about
that. We'll see. Lee, how are you and how's your week been?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, it's good, not as good as what Aaron's would be, but it's been a good week. I've now got a new name, and it's Mr. Wembley because I've been there so many times this season. And I also hit 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is just massive. I can't believe there's 4,000 people that want to watch this every Saturday and Tuesday. So yeah, it's great. It's been a good week so far.
And if you're not subscribing, you better do it. You better go and do it now. Well, if you're watching us on telly, then do it on your phone now. But if not, save it till after the show and then go and do it. And if you're not subscribing to this one, go and do it as well. But of course. I mean, we had you on the other game, so it was only right to have you on this week, Aaron. How are you and how's your week been? Have you recovered yet?
I mean, I just said before I came on air, I think today is probably my first fully sober day since Sunday. And yeah, in terms of, you know, like I could talk about this for hours and probably years now, but in terms of, I think the final for the neutrals, first of all, we were just saying you couldn't script it better than that, really, could you? I mean, two teams that just absolutely left everything on the pitch. Two teams that towards the end of it, neither team were bothered about, you know, defending, really, I think. And yeah, I mean, what a day. Just what a day. And just to be able to do that with my dad and you know, I've had a season ticket with my dad at Athletics for like 20 years plus, and we always kind of joked around and talked about a day at Wembley, but with the Oldham sort of negativity, we always felt it would never happen. And look, it's just we've had sorry, I've got the Wembley flu, by the way.
Don't be sorry.
So, like in the sort of the last 4 weeks have comfortably been the best 4 weeks of my like footballing life, and yeah, just I can't really put it into words. Like I said, I've probably drank my body weight in rum over the last 3 or 4 days. I've been very, very fortunate to be able to be in like positions where I've been able to party with the players and the management, and yeah, it's just been really, really crazy. But what every football fan dreams for, I think, is what I've had this week.
Oh, I love that. Honestly, I do love that. Before we talk about the game, though, we have a lot of people in the chat. And, we've got Chris back. Evening all. So work decided to change my hours from what I was doing before 2 well 10. Now I'm doing 10 well 6. So I'm home in good time for the show.
Perfect.
As if it was written in the stars. I mean, Monday couldn't do it. Back to non-league, and Chris can be here. It's like I planned it, Chris. Before the show starts, just adding in pre-season games into the list on a football forum I'm on. Oh, lovely. Mr. Statman himself. He's always got the stats, Chris, hasn't he? We've got Luke. I know, very eventful Luke. All right, everyone. Our manager has resigned. No, what an idiot. Resigned and left to join South Shields as assistant manager. Probably best for all parties now. Sad to see him go like that and to the way the season ended for us. Oh, I know. Luke, we'll have to have you on soon as well, talking all things Gateshead. Message me after and we can arrange to get you on. It's just a conversation between Chris and Luke. We have got Graham. Good evening, team. Hello, Graham. Hope you're okay. Have we got anyone else? Oh, we've got Merritt. Evening all. Firstly, well done to Oldham. Great club, great fans. Never been prouder to be a shrimper. I was crying like a baby at the boy cleaning our badge from the typical display. Watch out, EFL. Oh. Wait, there was a playoff final. Could have told me about it. Yeah, we could have told you about it. You better have been watching it. Also, hi, bunch of bloody legends. How are we?
Bloody legends.
No,
Legends.
Legends.
Lucas put fair play, Oldham, been through the rut in lots of years. There had to be a time for them to have something to shine about. Credit to our league. Hopefully we join you sooner rather than later, Aaron. Aww.
Absolutely.
Oh, we've got our Dan. All right, crew. All right, Dan, lad. Gaming form just subbed just because you've got Leon. Aww.
Hey. Cheers,
So,
John.
You've got to be on every week now, Lee, because they're only subscribing for you.
I know, I can't help
Just
it.
for you. And yeah, Dan the man. So, do you know what, Aaron? Talk to us. Like, we want everything. Like, from the build-up to the game to the celebrations, we want it all.
So we set off from my house at 7 a.m. on the Sunday morning, me and my dad, in plenty of time, we thought. However, we just got to the Hayward Junction, so literally about 15 minutes from my house, and an orange warning light came up on my car. Bear in mind, I'd only got the car on Friday, so I'm really beginning to sweat here. I'm like, what is going on? Anyway, it turned out, I think it was just an admissions thing. I needed to put AdBlue in the car, and we were away and we were sorted. So we got to our car park and subsequent hotel, the Premier Inn hotel. It would have been for about 11:15 maybe, and then we went to meet my godfather, who lives in Cambridge but he's from Oldham originally, and his family at Las Iguanas in Wembley for a Mexican. And subsequently, that's where the drinking started. I said I wasn't gonna have many drinks, and by the end of it, I'd had a woo woo cocktail, and that was me. That was on my way then. So then we walked around Wembley. We walked to the yellow zone and got our seats probably about 40 minutes before kickoff. And yeah, it was deafening, really. There was blue and tangerine balloons all over the place. I was heading them, I was hitting them, like I was full on in the mood, you know, I was ready for it. And then before you know it, the players had come out. I sang one of the greatest renditions of God Save the King I think I've ever sang in my life. And yeah, it was showtime. And look, in the first 5 minutes, it probably was the worst start to a playoff final you could ever imagine for as an Oldham fan, especially in the manner. Excuse me.
Yeah, right.
In the manner it happened as well. Manny Month absolutely rock all season, and he just got it caught under his feet. The only thing I would say about that goal, if you haven't seen it, is not that it really matters anymore. So I'm not going to dig anyone out, but I do wonder why Hudson was so far off his line, because I don't think he needed to be that far off his line to start with. And also, Manny had to get a touch on the ball because Kendall would have scored anyway, I believe. So it's one of them, really. It had to happen. So, yeah, we're 1-0 down, and you then begin to think, oh, my God, already then the negative Oldham fan mindset sets in. We've just smashed everyone in the last 2 games to get to this moment, and it's just not going to be our time, But we kept pressing. Nathan had an absolute golden chance that he actually probably took off Fondop's head. I reckon if it would have gone to Fondop's head at the back post, it would have gone in. And there's been a few little commentary bits about Fondop's reaction to Nathan and whether it was just or not. And to be honest, I don't see a problem with it, because he's a young lad learning his trade, but also you're in men's professional football at the highest level now. That he's going to learn from that moment, and he's probably going to learn from that bollocking from Fondop as well. It's only going to make him a stronger player, really. So yeah, he dusted himself off from that moment, and then maybe 10 minutes later, probably the biggest chance of the first half, aside from the penalty, which I'll touch upon in a second, fell to Mike Fondop. And if you want a chance to fall to anyone in that Oldham side this season alone, it's Mike Fondop. And he races through, and he goes to chip the keeper, which personally I would have. I mean, I'm in a wheelchair. I'm never going to play football in my life. But if I'm 1-on-1 in that situation, I'm side footing it to the keeper's left. But he's gone to dink it over, and the spin of the ball's just killed him. And I've had to turn to my dad, because my dad's jumping up and down in the disabled section, thinking it's already gone in. And I've had to tap him on the shoulder and said, "You do realise that's just gone wide?" So there was that, and I'm starting to think, if he can't put that away, we've not got a chance today. But then, absolute carnage from a Regan Ogle long throw just after the halftime whistle, and Manny Monf gets his legs swept from underneath him, and Joe Garner, with one of the best penalties I've ever seen, took his time, because Nick Hayes was, how do we say, playing the system. I would like to think, with holding his head and rolling around and doing the Neymar rolls on the Wembley turf, trying to put him off. But somebody with Garner's experience was never missing that penalty, and from that moment onwards, you then thought the momentum was going to swing with us. We had a few more chances, probably, to have killed the game in 90 minutes, but it wasn't to be. And then the same pattern of the first half of extra time happened as the first half of the game. Southend went and scored with only the second shot on target of the game, and this is when the tears started to fall here, Shine. My head's crumbling, my heart's crumbling. I'm thinking, oh my God, we're done for here. Because then he starts.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm good. Then Mellon starts to make some Pep Guardiola esque substitutions that you can't really get your head around. He brings on Jez at left wing back, and you're thinking, what the hell is he seeing here that we're not seeing?
I thought that.
He's bringing Tom Conlon on, and as captain, Conlon, it's fair to say, has been a decisive figure this year in terms of. Personally, I think we look better when he's not in the side, but as captain of the football club, it's hard sometimes to leave him out. But again, that's probably a story for another day. And yeah, so it's then probably the best 2 minutes in football history happen. Jez puts the most pinpoint long ball I've ever seen anyone do. He's only done 3 things in an Oldham shirt since he signed for us: score an opening day, score at Tranmere in the FA Cup, and give one of the best assists I've ever seen to James Norwood, who, listen, if you haven't seen this goal, please find somewhere to watch this goal, because it just oozes James Norwood. It just oozes class. It oozes pedigree. And he takes one touch on his chest, takes another one to dink it past the onrushing Nick Hayes, and then the third one just rolls it into the net. And at this point, there's 5 minutes left of the game, 6 minutes left of the game maybe, and I'm jumping up and down. I'm thinking, oh my God, we've got penalties here now. What, you know what I mean? I'm about to turn around, face the wall. Like, I can't do this, but I'm jumping up and down just by the fact we're back in the game. And then, just as I'm starting to calm down and get my head together for penalties, it's the best cross of a football I've ever seen. Leads to absolute pandemonium with 90 seconds left. Keane Harrop cuts in on his left hand side, and actually, I say it's the best cross, but me and my dad have both said since it's actually a really, really clever ball because it's one of them balls that Mikey's done enough to run across the keeper. He's put it in that much of a dangerous area that I think Mikey probably could have touched it in himself, but because it's in such a dangerous area, because Mikey's ran across the keeper, it's just done enough to impede Hayes' view and send Oldham Athletic fans into absolute state of delirium. That's the only way I can describe it. I was hugging people I've never ever met before in my life, telling people I love them that I've never met before in my life. Nearly threw myself off the disabled balcony in excitement. I thought I was gonna be sick. I started crying. I thought I was gonna be sick. I thought I was gonna crap myself all in the same movement. Like it was just unbelievable scene. And then yeah, like the trophy presentation is one of them moments where I just had my hands at the back of my head, like my eyes were red raw with tears ready to come out, and you don't think it happens to your club, do you? Like, especially if you're in lower leagues, it's very rare, and I always say I wouldn't do ever like your Liverpools and your Cities kind of lose the magic of Wembley because of their maybe 3-4 times a season. They might not really understand it, and that's not their fault, of course, but but for me, it was almost an out of body experience. And then they just come on the pitch and everyone's crying. Wow, this week is going to kill me, I swear.
Don't worry. Do you need a break? Are you okay?
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the sort of realization then of, like I just said to you guys before we come on, it's so much more than just a promotion and a footballing sense in terms of we've just made money. Not that we needed to keep afloat because Frank's well enough off for this division, you would imagine, but we've just made enough money now to press on and not really have to worry about many things at the minute in the current climate. And we've got our academy back now, and obviously that's massive. We've created some stars in the past, mainly James Tarkowski, obviously. George Edmondson, who was at Ipswich a couple of seasons ago, and yeah, just absolutely a wonderful day. And then there was a party at Boundary Park on Monday afternoon and evening, and I managed to gate crash the family and friends section of the party thanks to some of my contacts within the football club. And yeah, like you might have seen on my Twitter some very unprofessional photographs in the last couple of days. Scarf around my head, rum and coke in hand, doing wheelies with James Norwood around the football club. What more can an Oldham fan want right now, So yeah, I mean, most of the lads are off in Ibiza now or Bali, wherever you want to go, really. They all seem to be having the time of their lives, but also in the back of our head now, the season starts in 58 days, so there's also the part of me that thinks, like, I know that Mickey, for instance, is already like he doesn't get a break as such. Of course, he gets to enjoy it with his family, but he said on the interview, like, he's got to start like rebuilding pre-season, really, because I'd imagine the teams that we're going to face now, no disrespect to the teams that we probably had in the calendar beforehand, but they're probably a little bit of a step up to the teams that we might have played if we would have stayed in this division. So yeah, everything's really, really exciting. I mean, I'm dreading the day this week or next week when that retain release list gets announced, because a club always has to do one at the end of every season. And if we would have lost the final on Sunday, I would have, probably welcomed it. But it's just the emotions of football, isn't it? Now all of them are heroes now. They're all edged in history now. So it's not going to be nice to lose any of them. But I think quite a lot of them are going to be moved on to create space for, hopefully, signings to push us on, because there's a lot of internal talk at the minute to not just make up the numbers in League Two. Actually, I think we look at that League Two at the minute, and no disrespect to the people in League Two, but you've got to fancy your chances of Oldham being one of the bigger teams in League Two as well this season.
Definitely.
In terms of fan base and in terms of maybe even budget, because our budget's not going to be small. We know that. So I think it's just a really, really exciting time for the football club. And we've had to wait 30 I think it's 34 years for this moment, and yeah, just once, hopefully not once in a lifetime, but it certainly feels like once in a lifetime anyway.
I'll let you have a quick break now, Aaron. Get your breath back, bless you. Ben, did you catch any of the game?
I did watch the whole game, yeah. I mean, it was probably out of the 4 playoff finals. I mean, obviously Sunderland gave us a massive moment, didn't they? You know, with the last-minute goal. But I think that was probably the best playoff game the Oldham won out of the 4, just for, like I say, as a neutral perspective. You know, I don't think, like I said, could have, as Aaron said, I don't think it could have had a more disastrous start, to be honest. And like I said, I think it was one of those where Mont had to get a touch on it, I think, and it's just unfortunate how it sort of happened. It's one of those sort of you couldn't avoid a little bit. But then, yeah, I think Southend, you know, so Oldham sort of grew into the game. They've had a couple of really good chances. Fondups, you know, probably, you know, I know he's a very religious person, and so I'm told, and I think he would have been praying to the gods, you know, throughout the whole night after that, because the boys dug him out, you know, for them. And then obviously, you know, the penalty does, you know, change the game a little bit. And I think a lot of people probably assume Oldham going on win it in normal time. But then, you know, out of absolutely nowhere, I mean, like I say, they were brilliant from the off, weren't they? Southend scoring 2 early goals at the start of halves, and that was obviously clean. Again, I think the goalkeeper didn't recover himself glory. I know it took a slight deflection, but I think he would have been disappointed with the punch out. And then, you know, James Norwood doing James Norwood things. Like, look, he's the same end where he scored that winning goal for Tranmere in the playoff final against Boreham Wood, showing all his experience in that to take that around the goalkeeper and anticipate the mistake from Goodliff. Thought it was absolutely, you know, class, you know, striking finishing. And then, you know, the cross coming in, like, just sends it to Raptors. Like, I'm really pleased for Oldham, to be fair. I know you might not like to hear that, Shah, but they are, for me, and you know, it's not to say just because Aaron's here, but I think in the whole time I've supported Maidstone, they were one of the best away supports that have ever come to us. When they came to us in the FA Cup about 6-7 years ago, I've never heard an away end just like them. They were absolutely, you know, well behind the boys. Bear in mind they were division above us at the time. It could have been so easy for them not to, you know, like just take it a bit easy and everything like that. But they got behind it like it was the 3rd round of the FA Cups. Like, so they deserve everything. Right, Frank Rothwell, I like the way he comes across. Like, very Oldham, you know, fan, you know, heart, like local lad as well. And, you know, to see his hometown club taken back into the Football League, like, and that's the thing. Like, I think we always say you can't get stuck in the National League, and Oldham, to be fair, have gradually got better year in, year out. You know, they've been, it was 3 seasons now, and you know, I think they probably didn't expect it, to be honest, to happen this year. When you think, you know, the likes of how good York have been, Forest Green, and you know, I think all those playoff teams had a really good chance. And you know, Southend, to be fair, I backed them to win. I thought they might do it, and you know, bear in mind, they didn't give up. They, even after going 3-2 down, they still kept pushing for that equaliser. Like, I generally thought there might be another one in this. And then, yeah, like the full-time scenes, like, you know, must have been incredible for those Oldham fans. Like Aaron's saying, 34 years they've waited for that. First time in my lifetime I've ever seen Oldham go, because they always seem to be a team of just dipped through the leagues. You know, they've gone from Premier League all the way down to National League, which must have been such a low point for them. But now it almost feels like they're on their way back a little bit now, and they hopefully can use this now as momentum to maybe go again and try and get, you know, back-to-back promotions. Who knows? It's been done before at this in you know, in recent times. So yeah, no, I was just like, congratulations, Aaron, and you know, everyone at Oldham, because what a tremendous achievement for everyone at the club.
Yeah, I think just on that, it's worth noticing as well, like the sort of the feeling between both sets of fans even after the game. I've never known such a warmth between 2 sets of fans and mutual respect between 2 sets of fans. Even ones that have just gone through absolute heartache, like Southend. Like, it was just, the whole day was just class. There was no animosity. Obviously, you get your section of the fan bases that are idiots, that are the vocal minority, of course. But the real, like, hardcore fans like myself and some of the Southend lads and lasses are just superb. And you know, I'll be honest, I won't have as much of a keen interest in the National League as I would have done maybe last week, but I'll definitely be looking out for them. And I really hope that one way or another it's Southend's year next year, because they, like Lee was saying last week, they are one of the teams in that division that are probably, like, you look at Oldham and you look at Southend and you probably think, if we're being honest, they're probably both League One fan bases, aren't they? In terms of
Yeah.
the sort of, in terms of the what's the word, like potential there. I reckon they're both League One fan bases, so yeah, they deserve it. But just to maybe put a smile on Char's face, we did the end of season roundup for National League Natter yesterday, and we had to put our necks on the line to do winners and promotion winners, and I've got Rochdale winning the playoffs next season.
Oh, thank you.
I've not just said that either to make anyone feel better. I actually think I feel like if you can get your recruitment right this year, I think you play very good football. I think you played very good football last year, and I just think it'll click for you this year. I really do. So
thank
yeah.
you.
And then we can get our derbies back next year and get our 6 points back from you.
I know. I'll have my say in a minute on the matter. Lee, obviously you were there at the game as well. How was it like the game? But I know you mentioned off air to us, just the atmosphere and the sound of it all. How was it?
Yeah, I mean, just the league. I want to just say first that I think that could have been a sellout. That ground, that I can 100% say that game would have sold out if they weren't messed about with trains and tickets and everything like that. They should have been given full allocation. Two of the biggest fan bases in that division, and you could have easily seen 90,000 people selling out Wembley that Sunday. And I've got to say, the whole train situation, I've never seen something go so smooth. At the end of the game, there was fences up, it was all done properly, fans, there was no pushing to get on trains, and there's never a wait for a train in London anyway. But the trains were coming, the trains were empty, they were piling everyone on. You got to where you needed to get to, there was no trouble. And yeah, I think it's such a bad look on the league for not giving the full allocation, because that out of the 4 playoffs that were done at Wembley, the atmosphere, the noise, you couldn't hear yourself. I took my daughter with me, and she was sitting next to me, and you couldn't hear her talk to me because just the way the crowds was so loud. But that's what you want for a game like that, because it shows how die hard the fans are. But the game as well, and like Aaron was saying, getting that goal at the end, I thought the ball's been crossed in and someone's going to get on it, and it just went in. And I was like, I think on my video you can even go, oh my god. And yeah, the Oldham fans just went absolutely mental, and it was just such a good thing to see. So I think, like you say, Aaron, next season I think Oldham are going to be okay, but just remember, when you come to Crawley, you're not going to be okay. So have you still got
the owners that do transfer business on Twitter?
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
You've got Harry McCurdy now, haven't you? Harry McCurdy. Yeah. What a guy.
Yeah.
Has he re-signed for you?
Yeah. Can't wait to see him play, though. It'd be good to see him play.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, just that out of the 4, that was the best playoff final out of all the games that were played there that week and that week. And I think I do need to say, I might be a bit of a curse, because I sat in the Leyton Orient end and they lost. I sat in the Walsall end and they lost. And my seats were right next to the South End directors and chairman.
Aww.
And they lost. But also, all 5 goals were scored in 1 goal.
Yeah.
That match. All 5 goals were scored in one end.
Yeah.
Just realised as well, like, because you mentioned about the size of that. Every team, didn't they? They won from that end. It was the lucky end, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, that was amazing. I don't think I've ever seen that in one year of playoffs. That must be a record.
Weren't Aldershot there as well, and Crystal
They were, yeah.
Palace.
They were.
Yeah.
No, so I would have shot with the other end, weren't they? But I know
Well, shot the end.
Yeah, I think Palace won it, didn't they?
I think they were in that.
They were the
three
last
goals were scored at their end in the second half.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
okay. I thought they were the other end.
Ooh.
But
I sat the Spennymoor close to the Spennymoor fans, and they lost. So I hold my hands up and say I'm really sorry to all the teams that I sat with.
I paid him to sit there, Chris. Okay. Bought his ticket.
I think
we don't talk about Spenny anymore.
Also, what I'm curious now, I've watched the highlights back again. Not that either decision makes a difference, but I'm just interested for some neutrality opinions on it in terms of the red card that should have been a red card that never was a red card for the Southend man, and the most blatant penalty I've seen on Fond Up ever not be given.
That was a blatant penalty.
Yes,
I think
how that wasn't given.
100%.
I'm not being funny. I think if them two decisions go our way, I think the game's done in 90 minutes, and you know what I mean. It's a hell of a lot more relaxing viewing for me, I think. But going back to your point about the attendance and the sellout, I think what was very, very interesting. Ref was fantastic for Oldham. He's up front. Not who do you support, Ruben? What is this? Because please tell me what decision you think went for Oldham that shouldn't have gone for Oldham in that game.
He's definitely going to be a Dale fan, isn't it?
I know, yeah. Because if anything, I've just pointed out two stonewall decisions that didn't go for us. But yeah, what you were saying before about the crowds, I think the both sets of fans made the voices heard, because I don't know if you remember, but when the director of the National League came out to do the formalities beforehand, he got one big almighty boo from the Wembley crowd, and I thought that was very, very interesting indeed. So yeah, and also just because I'm gonna have to go in about 10 minutes, I just wanted to maybe touch upon obviously the statement from Mrs. Ugler that has been released since Sunday's final in terms of what we all think on it. Now, I will preface what I'm about to say. I agree with the sentiment and the points made in the statement. However, I think the timing of the statement is outrageous, and it just looks like they've just got sour grapes against Oldham now to me in that whole statement. But the sentiment of the statement is bang on, and I think everyone can say it till they're blue in the face. 3 up, 3 down needs to happen next year. And I'm probably more in favour of 3 up, 3 down now next year. Now we're not in the league than I maybe it was 2 weeks ago. So yeah. So yeah. But have we all read the statement, and what do we all think?
Yeah. I like I said. I think I said last week, and I said the week before. It needs to happen. Even if it's just for League Two, National League, is you 3 up, 3 down. It doesn't need to be messed about with all the leagues below. It just affects League Two, National League, because, like we said, how can a team finish on 96 points and not get promoted? It's absolutely it's insane that the second best team in the league, apart from Oldham, got 96 points and didn't get promoted. I think it needs to be 3 up, 3 down. Absolutely.
What are you thinking, Ben?
Well, I mean, I've always been in agreement of the 3 up, 3 down. I don't think it's been pushed enough in the last couple of years by the National League. I think they've just sort of let the Football League walk all over them a little bit. And I think now is the time to really start looking at it. Look, I think as Aaron said, I think the timing of that statement isn't the best, to be honest. It should have been put out, to be honest, before the playoffs had even begun, because that would have been, then they could have. Now it is like an easy excuse now for them to use, thinking, oh, well, we finished at 96, we should have gone up. And it's like, well, and in a lot of people's opinion, they should have done, but obviously it's not the case. And I do agree with Lee. I think it shouldn't be messed about with the North and the South, because I think it would just get too complicated for a start, and then you're having to start and going down the leagues, because eventually, you're going to have to go through all leagues. And two automatics should be going up and one player, because there will be teams that will finish on 100 points or something like that and not go up. But I think, the price of not going up from the National League is so difficult because a lot of clubs do invest a lot into that league. So I think it needs to really be looked at heavily over the summer. I know they put out a video. A lot of clubs have put out the video the National League have sent them with the 3 up, 3 down. Martin typed in commentary as well, and obviously that's a good face to have as well. Obviously, him being a lifelong Woking fan.
That comment just made me really laugh, because we have a podcast called the Boundary Park Alert System, and they did a promotion special, and they made an advert called York Bitter by Ugler, and it was a beer advert, and that's what they're referencing to there, and it was class. The only things I would mention about that statement is, and things I believe in is, if York would have gone on to win the playoffs, they wouldn't have done that statement.
They would not have done that statement.
That's exactly what
I was about to say that, yeah.
And also, there was not the amount of times he mentioned Oldham in there, and yes, they finished so far ahead of us, but we also, 15-day gap or not, we absolutely battered them at their place to get the right to perform in that final. So I just feel like they're trying to discredit us a little bit, and it's not really our problem. Like, we're not the bad guys in this piece. We've just done our job and done it very, very well.
Yeah.
Just before you go as well, Aaron, I didn't congratulate you live on air because we skipped it. So I know I've said it, but congratulations on the promotion.
Thank you so much.
The best team overall, I feel, in the playoffs won. Fully deserving. As much as obviously I've said about Southend and how much I respect what they're doing and the comeback, I think overall in the 3 games, Oldham thoroughly deserved to go up. I mentioned it the previous podcast as well. Mickey Mellon and the tactics, everything was absolutely outstanding. I thought in each game, he was absolutely brilliant in his substitutions. As you mentioned before as well, some of them, when I was watching the final, I thought, wow, that's quite questionable, but they worked.
Yeah.
So it just shows, obviously, who's manager, and he has the knowledge up there. But one thing I did want to mention as well is just how good he has done in the National League, because I know there were some Oldham fans who they weren't sure about him, and I know throughout the season there's been a few people who've been questioning him, which I feel like everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but to get 3 teams out of that league now, it was obviously Tranmere, Fleetwood and Oldham, I think is absolutely brilliant and phenomenal. And yeah, just overall, the best team won. And I don't know if it will get clipped by any Oldham fans, but I've been quite good, to be fair. I found quite a mutual respect with Oldham fans, where they've actually come to me and been like, you know what, you're respectful.
That's what I was going to say. I don't, even if you got some questionable opinions from your own fan base, I'd always like fight for you and protect you in that regard, because genuinely, I think there's a lot to be said for rivalries, but then I am a big believer in it's good for the northwest of England and northwest football, isn't it? You know what I mean? Obviously, I would have been sick for about a week beforehand, but eventually, if that would have been Rochdale in our situation, I would have been like, you know what I mean? Fair play, you know what I mean? It's great for the northwest of England, and it's just nice. It's nice to actually be on the right side of history for a change. You know what I mean? And see all of when Oldham put on the Wembley changing room scenes, and they're all sliding about in their underpants and that. I've seen that on TV so many years, and I thought, I wonder what it's going to look like for a crop of Oldham players to ever do that. And now I know the answer. None of them have got any rhythm, but that's what we learned on Sunday, you know. But yeah, thank you so much, Shah. Thank you for allowing me on again, and thank you to you 2 boys as well. Like I said, Lee, keep up the great work on your YouTube channel. Congratulations on 4,000 subscribers. Ben, I hope your season with the Stones goes more positively for you next season, and I'm sure I'll be back around on this podcast at various points.
Or the EFL one.
Yes.
The EFL one.
Yes,
the EFL
exactly.
podcast.
Yes. Yes.
But Aaron, if obviously you would like, before you go, to promote all your socials, your podcasts you do, please do.
Yeah, so let's do it. So obviously I'm taking a little bit of a break now because the last 10 days have been an absolute whirlwind. But the majority of my work comes from Aaron Diskin1 on X. That is my personal account. So if you would like to follow me and see what I get up to on there, then please do. Also, we have just relaunched the National League podcast as part of the Deck over on Twitter. The Deck NL, we are on Twitter, and that we just dropped a season review yesterday on that, and we're doing a lot of deep dives and transfer specials in the pre-season. So lots of content to come from me and the podcast. So yeah, that's everything, I think.
Just really quickly as well, we've got a question.
Ooh, I like that.
It's obviously Burnley as well. Burnley got promoted, didn't they?
Yeah, but Liverpool are also in the Northwest.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so probably not.
They're definitely
really,
up there. Definitely up
there.
I
think outside of the Premier League, probably, yeah. But because Liverpool are in the Northwest, that would probably go to them just because the Premier League is deemed the all mighty, isn't it? You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah.
Done better than United and City anyway.
That's it. I'm not saying. No, I'm joking.
You're always doing better than us. You always do. What? Right, on that note, Aaron, you're getting removed now. I'm joking.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you feel better soon.
See you later, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, bless him. Just before we obviously move on, and a Southend point of view, because we've not really touched on them as much, do we think the extra time, and obviously going to the extra time and the penalties and then extra time again, did take its toll on them?
Yeah, absolutely. You could see nearing the end that there are some tired legs out there, and yeah, I don't when it went 2-2. I think then they were sort of not really knowing what to do. And I don't think they really knew if a third goal was going to come from anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the normal time with the extra time and then the extra time, which I've never understood. Why do you add on time in extra time? They played half an hour. Why are you adding on more minutes? But yeah, I think the length of the game, gave Southend some tired legs out there.
What do you reckon, Ben?
See, I'm probably on the opposite side. I think that maybe it doesn't, because I always use the example every year. Probably only happened last year with Braintree. They got promoted from the National South to the National League. They played extra time in all 3 games and ended up getting promoted. But it's different when you're playing on Wembley, when it's such a big pitch and you're probably not used to it every single week. But I think but when they get a 2-2, I think everyone assumes that both teams sit in, don't want to concede, and just get it to penalties. But I think Oldham just clearly saw something. I mean, obviously the goal is the goal, a little bit of fortune in it. Obviously the way it happens, it's one of those crosses you try it 99 times, it doesn't go in that many times. But yeah, I think Southend deserve a lot of credit though for getting into that situation, because Kevin May, I mean, look, he does. I mean, I think he's already got the freedom of the town anyway, but he should be given a free drink in everywhere he goes in Southend, because how he's turned that club around, from a side that were only able to get 2, sometimes 1-2 subs on the bench last year, and now they were just, they were probably minutes away from getting back to where they should be. Look, I think it was always going to be a win for football, on the day, whether it was Oldham or Southend, because both teams have had their struggles off the pitch. Obviously, from a neutral perspective, I would have loved to have seen Southend do it, because they've been through turmoil there, where at one point they were probably not that far away from losing their club, and that would give their fans a lot of hope. Though, I mean, I saw the tifo was that they put up of before the game, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. You do not see that in any other country in the 5th tier. That was just brilliant. And not, as Lee says, to see 52,000 and that 30,000 Southend, as I said, that could have been very close to being close to a sellout if they were given a chance. Because 52,000 in the National League, that's unbelievable. So
it's insane, yeah.
Yeah, I just think Southend should hold their heads up high in their supporters, because I think the commentator said it after the game. I think Aaron McLean would have said it. They'll be one of the title contenders for sure next season. If they can keep
100%.
the likes of Gus Scott Morris, they've got obviously Charlie Kendall, plenty of experience. Well, Macaulay Bond as well, who's been there and done it at that level. That they've got a good set of players there. And Jack Bridge as well, someone I've always rated it at this level as well. So yeah, they can keep hold of that squad. Then I think they could be very close next year, because there's not going to be. Again, it's going to be a very open league next year with the two teams obviously coming down. So I really think it's anyone's game. I think Oldham were probably the really big boys in there, and now that they're gone, I think obviously pressure will be on York, obviously, but Southend will run them close. I think they'll be right up there for the challenging for the championship next year.
Absolutely.
That was one thing with Oldham, right? Don't get me wrong. It's never nice seeing your rivals get promoted, obviously, because you obviously want to be the one who gets promoted and do better, don't you?
Mm.
The selfish part of me wanted, obviously, them to stay down for that reason, and obviously the revenue that the derby games bring, because as much as we've got like Morecambe now coming down, Carlisle's fairly northern as well, and pretty close with us out of all of the league. No one's going to bring that amount of fans and revenue to Scotland than Oldham do. So that selfish side of me was like, I want them to stay for that as well. But then my head is thinking, well, if you get a team like Oldham who do get promoted, that's another big team out of the league with money. And as much as you've got Carlisle coming down who do have money, obviously we've seen them spending money. Just got Regan Linney as well from Altrincham. Fuming about that, by the way. I was convinced he was coming to us. Fuming. But you have to think of it more that way, like, at least then there's still, obviously, you've got York still, you've got your Forest Greens, you've got, obviously, Scunthorpe, who's been promoted, who have some cash behind them. You've obviously, we're not short on money. Like, we don't spend a lot and overspend, but we're not short on money. You've got some of them teams, and you kind of think, well, at least it is more open at this point, apart from, obviously, the teams I've mentioned. But Southend, I genuinely think, like both of you, if they can keep the core of that squad together, I think Gus Scott Morris is one that a lot of EFL teams will be looking at. I think if you can keep him and you can obviously bring in a few additions, I think they will be a force. And I think they can definitely get playoffs at a minimum, if not try and push on, because even though, like we mentioned, you've still got York there, you still have got Carlisle spending money. Southend are no pushovers. Like, we've seen Southend, and they've got something behind them now. They've got a decent structure. They've got a very good manager. And you've seen what they've done this season. I still wouldn't underestimate them. 100%. So I do really think Southend will be a force next season, and I think it's going to be a really interesting National League. I really do. I'm looking forward to it. I'm happy for the break.
I was going to say, like, I think, like, because it's like the first season for Southend in so many years where they've not had to worry about off the field issues as such. So that can only keep them in good stead, to be honest, going forward now, knowing that, look, they've had this experience now. They've been to Wembley. They've enjoyed the highs of the playoffs and obviously the lows of the playoffs. And Kevin Mayer will use that experience now to galvanise his players, recruit well, hopefully in the summer for them. That's key. I know they've got John Still, who's a master of getting out of this division. I think now he's a director of football there. So that they'll know what sort of players they'll want in terms of the way they want to go out and play. And obviously that is depending on the players they keep in the postseason. But I would never rule them out at all. I think even when they were going out for their off-field struggles and that, they were still finding, something to push them through. I mean, even like last year, they were missed out on the playoffs only just because of, had they not had those problems with squad depth and everything like that, I think they would have been in the top 7. But now I think they really are there now to really push on, and they'll be back in the Football League for me in the next 2 to 3 years, I reckon. I think they're that close now.
That National League as well has got some very, very good up-and-coming talented managers. And I'm including Jim McNulty, to be fair, in that bracket as well. I know as much as obviously he's learning and we've had frustrations, he's one of them. Obviously, you've got your Kevin Mayer. You've got there's some really, really good up-and-coming managers in that league. And it wouldn't surprise me if some of the EFL clubs will be looking around them at the moment, these National League ones, because you think of some of them and the talent, it's like Luke obviously mentioned the Gateshead obviously departing ways. Wealdstone have just got a new manager as well. Is it Sam Cox? Yeah.
Cox has come back, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting league. I know Wealdstone, bless them, have been losing a couple of players, haven't they, recently? So they're one of the teams where I think they really need to do good recruitment this season, because how many times can you survive like on the final day? Now it's getting to the point where they really, really have to like try and do some business now, don't they? But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I say.
Yeah, I bet you are. It's gutted not to be in the National League, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was so hoping you have to. I was so hoping JCB.
Oh,
Yeah, it would have been nice to be there next season, but looks like it's going to be another run in the National League South, and see what happens.
That's going to be a bundle of fun, isn't it? So many teams are going to want to win that league now.
Yeah, I know. Especially the thing is, it's the teams that have come down.
Yeah.
But Dagenham and Redbridge.
You appointed Lee Bradbury, haven't they, as manager as well in the last few days? And he's done it at this level with having a Waterlooville, so he knows his way around it. Yeah, I think the trouble is, well, I'm looking at that division as well, and obviously Hemel have recruited smartly.
I was going to mention them.
they've gone right on the radar. They've been, getting some players in that will get them towards the playoff places. Chelmsford City will be title contenders next year. I'm putting that on record now. They've just signed Jack Barham from Aldershot. I mean, like the man of money, they must be paying him to go there. Let's be honest, Chelmsford is such a soulless place. Like, the stadium is soulless. So I think there must be an incentive there to want to go and pay for them. Obviously, they're going full-time as well next year. That is going to be about 8-9 teams. If you think the National League's open, 8-9 teams could win that division next year. I'm not saying we're going to be one of them, to be honest, at this moment in time, because we actually need to get a squad together for that. But yeah, no, do you know what? I think you look across all three divisions here, it's getting more competitive every single year. And the National North as well is we'll not be fearing that. Obviously, Fylde are going back down. They're going to want to bounce back straight away. And with their financial backing, you wouldn't put it past them at all. So it's going to be, it really is just getting harder now every year, because every team, more teams are throwing more money at it. And if it'd be a case of who does the recruitment well. That's the thing. It's so key now. And this is why most teams now go for head of recruitments, because they need to find the right players, not just find the big names. They need the right players that are going to fit in their teams. Otherwise, those teams are going to be nowhere near those promotion places.
Just on the recruitment as well, I'll go to you first, Ben. Have you signed anyone?
A good one.
I'm sure I saw one, didn't I?
The transfer window's open, is it? Oh, well, we've signed...
I'll get yours over quicker.
Well, we've signed one player. That's good. So we're up to a squad of 3 at the moment, which is good. Because we've signed John Gilbert from Slough Town. A name I got familiar with a little bit last year. Very career player. I think the stats said 7 goals, 15 assists. So pretty much a playmaker at Slough. Good. And then to be honest, the last player we got from Slough, Temi Oweka, thrived at the club. And Scott Davis has been known to bring in young, hungry players and push them on into professional clubs. So he's been there and done it with so many times. I'm pretty sure there was a Southend player that was is involved, at Slough just at the beginning. I think he scored the second goal. I think it was, wasn't it? Pavlon, was it? And he was with Slough not that long ago. So. Pleased about that one. It's a start, isn't it? We've only got him, George Fowler, and Sam Corn, so we're getting close to a 5-a-side and everything at the moment. But we're still waiting on a number of players to come back to us whether they're going to sign another contract. I dare say the bulk of them won't. That's just my pessimistic feeling that they're going to get so many better offers elsewhere in the National League. And I feel like we're going to have to rebuild again, which is just frustrating, because we don't want to rebuild every single year to support a. You want to build a connection with your squad for a good 2 or 3 years at least. And, obviously part of the, take away the likes of Sam Corn and George Fowler, who've been with us now for a fair few years. There's not much, experience in that squad in terms of being there for more than 2 seasons, if that. So yeah, we need to find a way, at the top of the club to keep hold of players for more than 1 year, because I know we do 1 year contracts. You see a lot of clubs doing 2 years, and it's frustrating because you want to build a connection with your players, and I think a lot of supporters, by the time we get to the end of the season, they've only just about remembered all their names. So, they need a good couple of years to really understand what the club's about. We seem to be used as a stepping stone. I think that's what Matt Rush said in his press release after they beat us in the playoff final, Boreham Wood, saying, "Look, it's good there, to get me for my, back up to where I want to be in football," which is fair enough, and that's the club's problem if we can't afford to keep hold of these players. So the owners and the gaffer George have got a lot of work to do over the next few weeks now, because supporters are going to start asking questions soon, because they're being asked to buy a season ticket, but they need an incentive to buy a season ticket, and that means start signing some players. So I know the gaffer will have it under control. Look, I know George really well. He's done a great job with what he's had to put up with. He's had to rebuild that side about 3 times in the last year, because we keep losing key players at wrong time. So yeah, hopefully in the next week or so, we might see a bit more development on players, but not looking good at this moment in time, put it that way.
Fingers crossed.
I hate football.
Lee, I've seen at Worthing, there's been a couple of outgoings, hasn't there?
A couple.
I'm trying to be positive.
We've got no goalkeepers.
I feel like I'm rubbing it in now with both of you.
We've got no goalkeepers. We've let defenders go. Danny's gone, and I said in our group chat on Twitter that, do we think that Danny Cashman is going to go to York? And there is talk of him going to York.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? Like, let's be honest, because of the manager, the Felix and Pierce connection as well. It's got to entice him, surely. It's just written in the stars for me. But again, it's his case of, can he stay fit? That's the trouble, because he's one of those that can be a bit injury prone, can't he?
Yeah, that's it. If he can stay fit, then he has a really good season. And York then have got a Worthing hookup, because those 3 playing together, you've got 3 dangerous players there that are going to do you well for the club. We signed a player called Raz from Hornchurch.
Yeah, he was one of our ex-players a couple of years ago. Skillful lad.
Yeah, great player. Frimpong from Ishmael side, Charleston.
So it's not for one Liverpool are interested in.
Sadly not. No, we've got that sort of money just yet.
You never know.
And then signed Matt Burgess as well. So yeah, so far as I've seen, 3 bought in so far. So hopefully they're going to be announcing some goalkeepers are coming in, or we're going to be sticking some defender in goal. So yeah, it's just waiting and seeing now and see. I don't think Worthing are not going to get automatic promotion next season. I think it's going to be Dorking.
Yeah, they've started. Obviously, they always tend to keep a lot of those players, don't they? Every year. But the thing is, though, now, is it becoming an aging squad for Dorking? Because that was their big concern at the start of the season for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because obviously they've just let Matt Briggs go as well, haven't they? And tell you what, one team that I think people need to keep an eye at this moment in time is Salisbury, because they brought in Matt Briggs and they've signed Tommy Willard, haven't they, as well? That's 2 excellent players. But they must have got some money from somewhere to bring those 2 in. I mean, I don't know if they're local or not around there, but they were a side up just to avoid relegation. Now all of a sudden they're signing players that I wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. There's what I love about the National League and North and South is me getting a call up with a fractured knee at the moment. Yeah, I'll stand in goal and try and do something. But what I love is there's so many players that want to go there and play for teams in those divisions. And yeah, I just think they're such great leagues for even up and coming players that go on loan to the clubs there, because they can really show what talent they've got.
Yeah. How about the Dale, Shaw? How's their off the season?
One thing I did want to touch on real quickly, because I've not mentioned it yet, and I feel like no one's really gave him the respect that he deserves. I know he's been one of them who's people love him, people dislike him, but I feel like with Cairo Mitchell, he's not really had the goodbye that he deserves, because I know towards the latter end of the season, last season, his goal scoring did dry up. But I feel like the 2 seasons he has been for us and his goal scoring, I feel like it does need to be like appreciated. And a lot of our fans haven't really appreciated him, and it hasn't worked out. Obviously, we parted ways with him, which I think it was from both ends. I think obviously it was like a mutual decision from both parties, which is totally understandable. But you've still got to recognise like what he has done for us over the 2 seasons. So I just wanted to really come on and kind of give him that appreciation, because he's not really had that. So I just wanted that on record. To be honest, it's been quite a nice up to now, quite a nice like end of season. A lot of our players, to be fair, which we haven't had, in a long time, are under contract, which is massive for us. Obviously, the loan players have gone back. We also don't have a goalkeeper at the moment. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, though. I don't know if I'll be heartbroken again, but Louis Molden's just been released from Crystal Palace Academy.
He's the man, isn't he?
Louis Molden, if we're not going to get Super Sam Waller again from Burnley, then give me Louis Molden. Like, I don't mind. So that would be a good one. I know Graham knows him quite well, but Aaron Henry has just been released from Charlton as well. I loved him last season. His time did get cut short because he had to have surgery on his foot, I think it was. But I would love him as part of a squad, a very good squad player. And I think he offers that little bit more in sorry, I need to cough. You know, when my hay fever's like playing up, I can feel like my throat itching. But I feel like he offers something different in midfield that Harvey Gilmore and Ryan East don't have. So obviously then you've got quite a strong midfield. If we do get him, of obviously Aaron Henry, Ryan East, Harvey Gilmore and Corey Edwards, young lad who has signed, bless him, his first professional contract with us, which is amazing. He's come through obviously our reserves, which is incredible. We've signed someone from, I think it was Fylde. Hosanna is called. I know Aled knows him quite well. It was part of Wrexham's promoted team. He's been on loan at Bradford as well. And a lot of people have said you've got a really good player in him, but it's just keeping him fit, which is obviously the problem.
Isn't he the one that got sent off for misidentity, wasn't it, against Maidenhead? I want to say it was the same player.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was. That's a good start, isn't it? Hopefully it doesn't look like any of ours, other players. One thing I'm not too sure of at the minute, we have obviously offered Liam Hogan a contract again. I think it's only an initial 1-year contract, but he's not signed it at the moment, so I don't know whether he will or not. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, he will, because he actually had a really good season last season. But I'm not too sure because nothing has come of that yet. Obviously, Adi Barlow, which is amazing, has signed an extension. He was one of my favourite players last season. So that's good. Ian Henderson, he's obviously signed another year. Oh, the pain I went through watching that video. Like, I thought it's gone quiet. I've said on here week in, week out, it's gone really quiet. So I can't imagine him retiring. And then Dale put out that video, and obviously it's emotional. Me and my sister are there watching it together. We start tearing up, and then he comes on the screen, right? And he says, we'll save that video for another year. And then me and Amy were like, yes, running around everywhere. So yeah, that was obviously really good. But yeah, I think we need another striker, 100%. I'm hoping we will spend money on Jay Bird because we have got the money behind us. But, and there's a big but, he has apparently had a lot of EFL interest. So I'm not going to I'm not going to do like I did with Kean Hayes and kind of let myself get upset over it. Whatever will be, will be. But for once, it's actually nice. I don't want to rub it in, guys, but to sit here and have quite a decent squad behind us. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Did Eddie Barlow though? Was he the one that did the tree hugging? Wasn't it?
No, that's Adebayo rolling.
I thought it was. I thought it was either one of the two. I couldn't remember, to be honest.
Yeah. Eddie Barlow, we actually got him. It was a Manchester United academy player, and he's one of them players where you can tell is miles above National League. Like he drives the game forward and stuff, and he's contributed towards goals and stuff as well, but you can tell he's a lot more technically gifted than a lot of the other players. So I'm actually surprised we've managed to keep him. I think it was a trigger of we triggered his contract, so he signed the extension. And to be honest, I think he's pretty settled at Dale. He's just had a young baby as well, so I think he's quite happy to be there and hopefully progress with us. But from what the owners, Jim and the players are saying, they want to obviously push on and hopefully do one better than last season. They're up for it, so I'm excited. See who we bring in as well. See who we bring in. Let's just quickly go to the chat. Yeah. Please put in a word. I've been with Aaron Henry. I've been putting it all over my socials as well. All over. Did you want James Dajah, youth goalkeeper, Shah? Don't really know too much about him, to be fair.
Can we have him?
I mean, I know. We've also been linked as well. I don't know if there's any truth in it, but with Richard O'Donnell. Obviously, we have had him before, and I know obviously he's getting older now, but I wouldn't even mind him as like a second keeper. If you can get someone similar to Louis Molden, or you can get Sam Waller back, have him for like the National League Cup games. And I know he's doing his goalkeeper badges at the moment, so it'd be good for that experience, wouldn't it, as well?
And also from your side as well, things, John, from a selfish point of view, is obviously we know he's a big advocate for her game too, isn't he?
Yeah.
And have that as well, to really help push the campaign on for Rochdale, which obviously seems to be really picking up. That'd be terrific if we did come back.
Oh, honestly, it just fall perfectly if that happened, honestly. Like, and what a lovely man as well he is, Richard O'Donnell. Like, everyone who knows him and stuff is just such a lovely, like, humble guy. So I would never turn down the opportunity of having him back at Dale. Adebayo rolling is pure, but he is. What a lad. What a lad. And he loves a good tree. He loves nature.
I was just saying, obviously, the Aaron Bean and Grimsby, obviously the Grimsby badge, pick up on one big transfer news for them. Justin Amaluza going to the Grimsby. That's a great move for him. Obviously, I know him from his days being at Maidstone, but I always knew he had that in his game, and that to really push on and get into the Football League. It was a case of his attitude, but I think, to be fair, he's really proved himself at Altrincham in the last few years to really give himself that move. And I think I've got every faith in him now. He can really push on and become an established player, at least at League 2 level. So, yeah, fair play to him.
What do we think? And obviously, Altrincham have obviously lost Regan Linney. What do we think about his move to Carlisle? Very good fit, I think.
I think it'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be really good.
I think that where they're going now, Carlisle, obviously it's quite clear their aim is get playoffs and get right back into the Football League straight away. Look, they've managed to keep hold of Mark Hughes. I mean, what to go from the Premier League now to be managing the National League, that shows obviously the management that actually are quite happy to come down to this level. So we've seen it with Phil Brown when obviously I know he's left Kidderminster Harriers now, but obviously to go drop to the 6th tier, just shows testament to the fact that look, they're not there for the big money and everything like that. They just want to manage and actually build something. And obviously Mark Hughes, things that obviously it wasn't his own doing. Obviously what happened with Carlisle, I think the damage was already done for them. But now to have something at his own, he'll use every bit of his experience, from playing in the top tier and that, and coaching, at some, top clubs in the Premier League. He will use that experience now to try and really push him towards where Carlisle should be, and that should be at least the playoffs and that. But yeah, for bringing the likes of Regan Linney, who's thrived at Altrincham, the case is now for Altrincham, obviously losing two big players, in their side. How do they replace them?
Wow.
Must have been a fine offer he was given then to still stay in the National League then.
Wow. That does show that must be money.
Yeah.
Surely.
Now.
Money driven. Wow.
They don't get parachute payments, though, do they, from
No.
getting relegated from the Football League, I don't think, do they?
No.
Well, I don't know where they've got, because they haven't changed ownership as far as I've seen, have they? Like, I don't know where they've managed to get this financial backing from.
Carlisle, it was the start of, was it last season? Was it the start of last season? I'm sure they had obviously people come in. Is it Americans? I think they are quite well off, to be fair. Well, they must be.
Yeah.
Or they've got a really good project planned.
Obviously, Carlisle fans will be able to tell us better, but it's quite clear then that they just got recruitment wrong last year. I always said the same with Eastbourne Borough last year. You think the budget they had should have been more than good enough to be playoffs, and they only just avoid relegation. So that's the thing I always say is it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's how you use it. And obviously you see that even from the top level. So yeah, I think obviously bringing someone Mark who's his experience, he'll know the right players, and they would have, and obviously they would have identified them early, obviously after getting relegated. So that was clear. Probably that was the plan from the offset for them.
This is a bold statement from Graham, but one that you kind of think, to be honest, and part of me is thinking he will go on and smash it, but then the other half of me is thinking, will he kind of have that experience down the football pyramid like National League, and could that kind of backfire on him a little bit?
It did for Phil Brown, put it that way. So
yeah.
Can't rule it out. I mean, obviously he put him on a good run, Kidminster, and then just fell short at the end. But he knows full well, and I'm sure, to be fair, I'm sure he's probably one that's looked into the league in the past, and kept an eye on it, because obviously if that's where he knew he was sort of heading towards, he would have seen the managers that have been and gone from that division, like some big names that always tend to get the sack and that. And that's one thing I didn't mention actually when we had Aaron on, obviously, about Mickey Mellon. And you think, look, he's got 3 promotions out of that league, and he's had 3 high pressure jobs, to get teams out of it. So obviously he had Fleetwood, who had a massive amount of money behind it, and they were probably one of the best sides to ever come out of, what was it, the conference at the time. And then you've got Tranmere, who've got a massive expectation of being promoted, and Oldham again, the same projects. So the management styles and that are very different. He's going to have to adapt to the National League, because obviously it is very physical. It's very direct. And some teams do like to play. Obviously, we know Rochdale like to play. He knows he's going to have to change his game up. It won't be the same sort of football every single week, and he's going to have to learn that very quickly. Otherwise, could be a long period up until Christmas, when obviously Graham's saying that he might be gone by then.
Oh, bless Aaron on this comment, and I'm thinking, I'm glad you're looking forward to it, but I've never known anyone be excited to go to Rochdale. Bless you, Aaron. Looking forward to going to Rochdale.
It's just the pies, yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
Exactly. Oh, bless.
I was dreaming about him.
Merit has put best part of Southend not going up is going to Rochdale and hopefully bumping into up and coming star in the name of Charlotte. Of course, when the fixtures are out, please let me know if you are coming to Dale, or likewise if I'm coming to Southend, I'd love to meet up. Like, Southend have adopted me now. Like, the amount of new followers I got on Twitter, and they're all Southend fans after I was like bigging them up on here. I think they've adopted me for life now. So
face of rival league football.
I know. I was speaking to one of my mates, bless him, before. He's a Southend fan, and he said the only good thing about them not going up is you get to play us next season. And I was like, I've got PTSD over playing yous. I don't think I could ever go to a Dale Southend game again. 1 minute I'm celebrating, nearly breaking my finger over Devante Rodney's goal. Not that long later, 6 minutes again, like Spennymoor and Bromley, and we end up losing. If I ever see a 4th official at a Dale game put up 6 minutes, I'm leaving, because we are gone. We are losing that game. Like, number 6 gives me PTSD now. I'm not lying. Like, I'm not even being dramatic.
It's in the DNA.
Oh, honestly, 6 minutes. If you ever see a 6 minutes, just go. Just go.
Grab a pie and leave.
Make sure you get your pie and then go.
Exactly.
I'm taking a girl from a to Dale. Oh, I love that. You'll have to come and say hi. Definitely. I love how everyone's laughing. Chris. Don't laugh.
Warning. First warning.
Warning.
6,
Or I'll
6,
get
6.
Rob. I'll get Rob to talk about the FA Trophy game. I'll get him to come on. I'm joking. Yeah, but does anyone have any other news or anything they want to talk about?
There was something I want to say actually. A bit of news that I saw today, and I was quite shocked. I think we spoke about it just before, but what do Rochdale charge for a season ticket?
Well, I managed to get a family one, which
Yeah.
is 2 adults and 2 kids for 500.
And what do Maidstone charge?
Well, the early 13 ticket came out was 275 quid.
Okay.
Maybe about 300 or so, about near to that.
So Salisbury, that have just been relegated,
That's an Albans, yeah.
for this is just an adult price on its own, are charging £315. And
Mad.
they're the 7th tier. It's ridiculous. That's the price of a young person's season ticket in a Premier League.
That's more expensive than all of our stands.
Yeah,
So ours for standing is 200 quid, and for seating it's 275.
it's absolutely nuts that a team that have been relegated can then go and up their season ticket prices to £315.
And St Albans are one of those clubs as well that would probably make a fair amount of money on match days anyway, because they've got a big following behind them. And by the way, their food is one of the best. You know, it was one of the best in the National South. Like, they have so much sort of different variety there. The fan experience there is absolutely superb for me. And like, I think that's just so steep. I know football is becoming so much more expensive, even in sort of lower league. It becomes a bit harder to follow your club. But like, come on, the fans have already suffered enough. You know, that St Albans have been going down out of a league they shouldn't have gone out of. And you're now asking them to pay £315 for a season, because now that's huge pressure now on the club to get promoted next year. Because if they don't, you can see a lot of those fans saying, "Well, I'm not doing it." Unless, and again, a bit like us, if they don't see progress with signings and that, and players that you think, "Well, actually, they'll get us out of this league," they're going to go, "How can you justify my season ticket price?" I just think it's absolutely crazy.
It's nuts that they're charging £315 for a season ticket when you've got a team like Dorking, who last season they were doing a 5-year season ticket for £1,000.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really good price. £1,000 for 5 years.
I'd pay one game for £1,000 to see Matt White.
I'll get to say hello to the next season.
Did you see the picture I sent in the group?
I did. What a guy.
By the way, can we just appreciate as well, I don't know if any of you guys have been able to catch it, but the final episode of Bunch of Amateurs.
Yes.
By the way, you know, if they're ever watching it, or Rich Fippin's watching this, absolute massive credit, because the way that emotion came across in that video, I mean, it was going to be brilliant anyway, but I just loved everything about it. Like, you know, the scenes, the emotion, the touchline banter and everything like that. It was just absolutely phenomenal. Like, and then I'm surprised it hasn't got more views than it has at the moment. I really do hope it picks up, because it deserves to. It was an absolutely brilliant video, so fair play to them.
Oh, let's have a look. I haven't seen it yet, so
it's an hour and 41 minutes. You might want to put a bit of time aside for it.
Yeah,
it's a long one.
Oh, we've got our very own Sam as well. What I want everyone to do as well, right? Because Mark White did promise me that he'd come on this podcast. So after we all get off this podcast, everyone in the chat, you guys as well, tag Dorking Wanderers on Twitter and say, we want Mark White on the Absolute Football podcast. And
100%.
Let's make it happen, because he promised me he would come on. So let's do it over the summer.
Absolutely.
We need to.
And if not, I'll have to go and beat him up the next time we see him.
Exactly. I'll go there as well
Be
with you,
warned,
Ben.
Mark. Be warned.
Yeah, we're warning you. All 3 of us, look at us.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
come on the podcast.
Well hard. All 3 of us there stood at his door like, right.
It looked as a go, guys. Really, come on now. Come on.
It's like, really. Yeah, I agree.
It's a hair transplant for me.
He's been to Turkey.
Yeah.
What gets me was when he's wearing his leather pants and that fan turned around him and went, "You've got your wife's pants," and he's like, "No, it's your wife's."
Yeah.
What a guy. Dan has put, when Ben's thinking, I hope he ain't watching it. I just said that.
What?
I think he means when you said, I'll beat you up.
Oh, well, I got you. Don't
Yeah.
take it as a threat. Dan, honestly, there's no point. I'm an absolute pushover, mate.
Dan, you need to get on this as well. Everybody right now watching it, you need to get onto it. Tag Dorking Wanderers on and say, we want Mark White on the Absolute Football Podcast. Please do it. I mean, imagine that. That would be like comedy gold.
And we know he knows about the podcast for a start as well. Obviously, he knows you to start, and he's also one of the admins on the Dorking Wanderers, the Twitter page. So he's got no excuse not to see it.
Exactly.
So the reason I got that photo is because we did a Q&A night with him, and he's such a funny person. What you see on a bunch of amateurs and what you see on his interviews, that is who you get all the time. It's not a character. It's not he doesn't put anything on. It's just that is him. It's he's plus he's a really nice bloke as well.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, every man and his dog wanted a photo of him when he came down to the gallery. I've never seen so many people ask him for photos ever. Like, he was the most hated man at our club about 5-6 years ago when we first played him. But ever since the documentary now, everyone's just grown a massive love into him, including myself. I was never his biggest fan at the start now, but now I'll be the first one to buy him a drink in the bar after. He's absolutely top quality. So obviously, we could get him on here. That would be absolutely brilliant. And love to hear some of the stories he's got, because he's got a load of stories. I bet that he probably hasn't shared with the other podcasts he's been on.
Yeah, and he's a big Wimbledon fan as well.
He is, 100%.
Exactly. So, Mark, if you're watching, which we know sometimes you do, get on this podcast. I have 2 dream guests I would love to get on this podcast, because Sergio Ramos isn't going to happen. So Grant Hull and Mark White are my 2. Like, my 2 where I think, even Grant Holt, I think, is a push. Sergio Ramos and Mason Mount are just full on out there kind of thing. They're never going to come on. So, Mark White, you are the only realistic one. You're the only one we want anyway. Like, who wants Sergio Ramos and Mason Mount when you can have Mark White?
What? Why Grant Holt?
He used to play for Rochdale. He was my first, don't get me wrong, I had like other favourites when I was younger, but it was at the point where I was a lot older and more into football, and me and my dad would go watching Dale like home and away week in, week out. And when you finally like, wow, he's one of the best I've ever seen at Rochdale at that time. And I've just developed the love for Grant Holt. So apart from Ian Henderson, because I literally put him as top tier now because he's like broke records for us, my second ever favourite Dale player would be Grant Holt. We had Grant Holt and Ricky Lambert up front for us like
Ricky
years
Lambert.
ago.
Oh.
I know.
What happened?
But Grant Holt was like my favourite. We had Glenn Murray, we've had Adam Lafondra. But Grant Holt, like.
But no one compares to Hendo, though. No one compares to Hendo.
Top tier.
He's in a league of his own, let's be honest.
Oh, yeah. Like in conversations, like, bless him, like Bobby, because he's like into football, my oldest, he'll always say to me, like, Ian Henderson or such a body. It's like, Ian Henderson, obviously. It's like, don't include Ian Henderson in the conversations with me, because he's always going to win, because he's just a league above everyone else. Like,
Messi or Henderson, it's obviously going to be Hendo every day of the week.
Like, Lionel Messi wears Ian Henderson pajamas.
Doesn't even tie his shoelaces, to be honest. Let's be honest.
It doesn't. No. It did. Did everyone?
Start tagging him, Sam, in everything you can find.
But yeah, I think that's the end of the podcast. Oh. Question for the panel: who's your dream? I've already said mine. Obviously, Mark White is my dream guest. But Sam said if we ever get Tooney, I'm going to literally not be able to speak. Well, I know Joe Bunny, who Ella Toon's with, so leave it with me, Sam. She probably won't come on, but I'll try and get some off Tooney for you. Leave it with me. What about you guys?
Oh, dream guest. I would have to say, if we could have anyone on here as a dream guest, Roy
Anyone.
Keane.
Imagine it
Roy
rip
Keane.
into us.
Roy
Do you
Keane,
want
yeah.
it to me?
I just think it would be
That would
because he's
be.
such a dry sense of humor as well.
Yeah.
It would just be great. Yeah, I'd love an evening with
That
Roy
would be.
Keane would just be amazing.
See, my obvious one would have obviously been Frank Lampard, obviously, but I would change that this time. I think if it wasn't him, I'd have to go Didier Drogba. I loved Didier Drogba when I
I've
was
got the
growing
same
up.
birthday as him, Ben.
Have you? See, I
Oliver
don't share a
Platt.
birthday with anyone. My birthday's the day after Cristiano Ronaldo's and Neymar's, but I don't have anyone. I think I share a birthday with Bob Marley. I think that's the most famous person I share a birthday with.
What a lad.
But get on the ganja, you know. But yeah, for me, Didier Drogba, 100%. I love that man to pieces. One of the reasons I really got into football, so I'd have him on it on a heartbeat. So many moments I'd love to discuss with him.
But if we can't get any of them on, who would it be? Matt White.
Mark White.
Matt
Yeah,
White.
Mark White.
He'll do,
Yeah.
won't he?
We'll clip that and we'll just put who would your dream guest be, everyone? Mark White.
Mark White. There you go, done. We can clip that
There we
bit
go,
now.
done. We don't have to clip any of that other bit,
Clip it.
just that bit.
The power of editing.
Talking.
I love this one. Juan Mata.
Oh,
He seems a
Juan
nice.
Mata.
I love Juan Mata.
Love
He's
that
so
guy. He's just
lovely.
he's adorable, isn't he? But
He
actually,
is.
also N'Golo Kante as well. I love that man.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to talk about him driving
You're right.
a Mini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Righty, yeah. Don't mind me, righty.
This as well. Did you see Michael Carrick left? I know.
I was a bit of a shock that was.
That was a shock, especially considering he's been close like the past 2 seasons. But
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows what's happening? But yeah, I think that's the end of the podcast. That is the end of the podcast. I know there's been a few people as well asking about the content. Do not worry. There may be a couple of weeks where we do have pre-recorded shows. We might have time off. I know what we have got planned is doing some season reviews. So hopefully we'll have one, whether it's live, whether it's pre-recorded and we release it for National League, National League North, National League South. We'll also be doing that on the EFL shows as well. If anybody has come in tonight and they were expecting absolutely lower league, the EFL show, do not worry. It will be back to normal from next week. The only reason we did the non-league one this week was on a Thursday was because I was poorly and I didn't want anyone thinking I was a Rochdale fan copping out of the Oldham game. Don't get me wrong, I had to mentally prepare myself. I had to have them extra few days to mentally prepare myself for it. But I was never going to cop out of it. But yeah, there will be lots of content, obviously, still over the summer, even though football will end. But Lee, where can everybody find you and your content? I mean, not that long ago, you were saying you hit a milestone and it's gone crazy since then.
Yeah, I mean, I think last time I hit 3,000, and then within the space of 4 days, I had another 1,300 subscribers.
Love it.
Moved me up to I'm over 4,000 now. I'm 4.2, which has just gone mental. It's good though. It's what I want. I want it to keep 5K is the next one.
Love it.
But you can find me at YouTube, which is Football League Adventures, and you can also find me on Twitter, not X, which is also Football League Adventures.
Go check it out. Ben, where can everybody find you?
You can find me with not 4,000 subscribers because I'm not that popular in comparison to our Mr. Lee above us. But if you want to find me on Twitter, it's Ben Stones FC1.
And if anybody does want to find me, I am SharXRFC. That is on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Please keep out for my Rochdale Her Game 2 stuff as well. It is Rochdale HGT at the moment, but we are having a rebrand. Lots of exciting news coming out, obviously, in time for next season to my Her Game 2 stuff. But of course, we have the main ones. And if you're not following them, what are you doing? Like, come on, what are you doing? You're watching us now. So once you get off here, use this graphic right now and go and follow every single social if you're not doing it already. So we are the Absolute Football Podcast, and we are Best New Content Creator at the Football Content Awards. On Twitter, we are Absolute Ball Pod. On YouTube and Twitch, we are Absolute Football Podcast. On TikTok, we are Absolute Football Pod. Instagram, we are Absolute Football Podcast _ Blue Skies, if anyone uses Blue Skies still, we are Absolute Football. And then on Facebook, we are the Absolute Football Podcast. We have 4 live shows now, not just 1, 4, which is amazing. All of them are on at 8:30. On a Monday is Absolutely Non-League with us and the rest of the team. Absolutely Premier League is on a Tuesday with Sam and the team. Absolutely Women's Football Show with Freya and Team Chaos is on a Wednesday. And then you're probably all sick of me, but you can catch me on a Thursday as well. The Absolutely Lower League Show, where we do cover the EFL Championship, League 1, League 2 on that. Let me get my breath back. But thank you to everyone as well for obviously joining in the chat. We have got, please do this, by the way. Everybody, I want you to tag Dorkin in it and say, we want Mark White on the Absolute Football Podcast. Tag us in it. Tag the podcast in it. Tag me in it. Like anything. Just get him on. But yeah, the power and reach of appearing on this show is massive. Mark White, take note. I know exactly. Great show yet again, all of you. Thank you so much for your kind words. Aaron has put my dream guest would be Mark Goldbridge. Oh.
Controversial.
Ooh. Very controversial, but different. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a lovely weekend and take care.